Hello, my name is Lily. I want to tell you a story today. It is a very special story, and I hope you will listen to it fully. This story might touch your heart, make you smile, and maybe even bring a tear to your eye. But most of all, it will make you think. So, sit back and listen carefully. Once upon a time, there was a small village by a river. The people in the village were simple and kind, but they often felt tired of their daily struggles. The village was surrounded by hills and fields of golden wheat. The river flowed gently, and the children would often play near it. In this village, there lived a boy named Sam. Sam was only 12 years old. He had short brown hair and bright blue eyes. He loved to run around barefoot and climb trees. His laughter would echo through the village, making everyone smile. But Sam's life was not easy. His father had passed away when he was very young, and his mother, Rose, worked as a seamstress. She would sew clothes for the villagers and earn just enough money to buy food. One day, Sam came home from school and found his mother sitting by the window. She was holding a piece of cloth in her hands. But she was not sewing. She was staring outside with tears in her eyes. "Mom, what's wrong?" Sam asked, walking over to her. Rose quickly wiped her tears and smiled weakly. "Nothing, my dear, just a little tired." But Sam knew she was lying. He sat down beside her and held her hand. "Mom, please tell me. I can feel you are sad." Rose took a deep breath. She looked into her son's eyes and said softly, "Sam, we don't have enough money to pay for your school anymore. I've tried everything, but I can't earn enough. I'm so sorry, my boy." Sam's eyes filled with tears, but he did not cry. Instead, he hugged his mother tightly. "Don't worry, Mom. I will help you. I will find a way," he whispered. That night, Sam could not sleep. He stared at the ceiling, thinking. Then suddenly, he had an idea. The next morning, before the sun even rose, Sam woke up and quietly left the house. He walked to the river bank. There, he found smooth, round stones. He picked up several stones and carried them home. When his mother woke up, she found Sam sitting in the yard, painting the stones with bright colors. "Sam, what are you doing?" she asked. Confused, Sam smiled and held up a stone. It had a beautiful flower painted on it. "Mom, I will sell these stones. They are pretty. People might buy them for their gardens or homes," he said with hope in his voice. Rose knelt beside her son and touched his cheek. Her eyes were filled with love and pride. "You are so brave, my boy. But will people really buy them?" she asked. Sam nodded with confidence. "Yes, they will. You'll see." The next day, Sam took a small basket filled with painted stones and went to the village market. He stood in a corner, holding a sign that read, "Beautiful stones, only 2 coins." At first, People walked past him without noticing. But Sam did not give up. He smiled at everyone and greeted them kindly. After some time, an old woman stopped. She looked at the stones and smiled. "These are lovely. Did you make them?" she asked. Sam's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Yes, I painted them myself." The woman bought 3 stones and gave Sam 6 coins. Sam's heart filled with happiness. Day by day, Sam kept going to the market. More and more people began to buy his painted stones. Some villagers even placed special orders, asking him to paint their family names or small designs on the stones. One evening, when Sam returned home, he held out his small hand, filled with coins. "Mom, look, we have enough for my school fees," he said with a wide smile. Rose hugged her son tightly, tears streaming down her face. "Oh, Sam, you are my little hero," she whispered. But Sam was not finished yet. He kept painting and selling stones. Soon, he earned more than they needed. He gave some coins to his neighbors, who were also struggling. He bought food for the old woman who had bought his first stones. One day, a man from a nearby town visited the market. He saw Sam's painted stones and was amazed. "These are beautiful. You have great talent. Would you like to sell your stones in my shop?" the man asked. Sam's eyes grew wide with surprise. "Really? You want to sell my stones?" The man nodded. "Yes, and I will pay you for each one." Sam ran home, breathless with excitement. "Mom, a man wants to sell my stones in his shop. We can earn even more money," he shouted. Rose's eyes filled with pride. She held her son's face in her hands and said, "You are my greatest treasure, Sam. Not because of the money, but because of your kind heart." Months passed, and Sam's painted stones became famous in the region. People from other villages came to buy them. Sam and his mother no longer struggled for food or money. But Sam never became proud or greedy. He continued to help others. One day, an old man from the village came to Sam and said, "You are still so young, yet you have helped so many people. Why do you do it?" Sam smiled and said, "Because when I was sad, my mother held my hand. She gave me hope. I want to give that hope to others." The old man patted Sam's head and said softly, "You are a light in this world, Sam. Never let it dim." And Sam never did. He grew up to become a kind and generous man. He built a small school in the village for children who could not afford education. He taught them how to paint, just like he once painted stones. People from all over came to hear the story of the boy who sold stones with a smile, and they always left with a heart full of hope. My dear friends, this story is a reminder. Life will not always be easy. Sometimes it will break you down. But in those moments, remember Sam. Remember his smile, his determination, and his kindness. No matter how hard life becomes, never lose hope and never stop being kind, because kindness and hope can change the world. If you liked this story, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more beautiful and inspiring stories. Your support means the world to me. Thank you for listening. As the seasons changed, so did I. Spring brought with it the sweet scent of lilacs and the soft hum of bees, dancing from flower to flower. It was Grandma's favorite time of year. She used to say that spring was proof that no matter how harsh the winter was, life would always bloom again. I found myself walking through her garden more often, my fingers brushing gently over the petals she once planted. I whispered to the flowers, telling them stories about her, and I liked to imagine they were listening, nodding softly in the breeze. Summer came next, with its golden sunlight and long, lazy evenings. The swing in Grandma's backyard still creaked softly in the warm wind. I often sat there with a book in my lap, though I rarely turned the pages. Instead, I stared at the sky, watching the clouds drift by slowly, dreamily. I remembered the way Grandma would point out shapes in the clouds. The smiling face, the heart, the little puppy. I smiled faintly, realizing that even now, I still looked for them. And then came autumn, with its crisp air and trees dressed in fiery red and amber. The leaves crunched beneath my feet as I walked down the path where she once strolled beside me. The wind carried the scent of wood smoke and earth. I closed my eyes and took it all in. Somehow, it felt like she was walking with me, her hand lightly brushing against mine. But it was winter that made me miss her the most. The cold air stung my face, and the wind howled through the bare branches. The world felt quieter, slower, heavier. I would sit by the window with a cup of tea, her favorite blend, staring at the snowflakes swirling. Outside, each one was delicate, unique, and fleeting. I thought of Grandma's hands, gentle and warm, so different from the icy world outside. One evening, as the snow fell quietly, I took the music box from its place on my shelf. I sat by the fire, my knees drawn to my chest, and wound it gently. The familiar melody floated through the room. I closed my eyes and let the music carry me somewhere far away, somewhere where Grandma was still smiling, still holding my hand, still dancing with Grandpa beneath a golden sky. And then, in the middle of that soft, delicate melody, I made a promise. I promised her that I would live the way she had taught me, to love fully and deeply, to be kind even when the world was not, and to keep my heart open to the beauty around me. I promised to carry her love with me in every step I took. The next morning, I walked down to the park, the one she used to love. The snow still covered the grass in a delicate white blanket. My breath came out in soft, cloudy puffs as I made my way to the pond. There was no one else there, just me and the silence. I stood by the edge of the water and slowly opened the locket around my neck. I gazed at the small photograph inside, running my thumb gently over the tiny image. My chest tightened, but it was no longer the kind of pain that made me feel empty. It was a fullness and ache that came from love, not loss. Without thinking, I knelt down by the pond. I cupped my hands, letting the snowflakes land in my palm. They melted almost instantly, but for a moment, they were perfect and whole. And in that still, quiet moment, I spoke softly into the winter air. "I'll make you proud, Grandma. I promise." The wind stirred softly, lifting my hair and brushing against my face. I closed my eyes and smiled, somehow knowing she had heard me in the weeks that followed. I found myself drawn more and more to the little things, the small, beautiful moments that I had once taken for granted. The warmth of the sun on my face on a cold day. The sound of children laughing in the distance. The way the stars blinked softly against the black canvas of the night. I started volunteering at a local nursing home on weekends. I would sit with the elderly residents, listening to their stories of first loves, of wartime letters, of family picnics in fields of wildflowers. Their voices were filled with tenderness, and their eyes sparkled with memories that still danced behind them. One woman, Mrs. Thompson, reminded me so much of Grandma. She had kind eyes and a soft, weathered voice. She once told me about her husband, how he would leave her handwritten notes under her pillow even after 50 years of marriage. I smiled, feeling a lump rise in my throat. "Do you still have them?" I asked softly. Her eyes twinkled. "Oh yes," she whispered. "I read one every night." That evening, as I walked home, I clutched the locket tightly in my hand. I felt as though I were carrying not just my own memories, but the memories of everyone I had spoken to, their stories, their love, their heartbreak, their hope, and it made me feel less alone. As the years passed, I grew older, but the locket never left me. I wore it to my graduation, holding it tightly as I walked across the stage, imagining Grandma's proud smile. I wore it on my wedding day, wrapped round my bouquet, feeling her love surround me as I spoke my vows. And when my daughter was born, I pressed the locket gently into her tiny hand. Her fingers curled around it, and in that moment, I felt as though 3 generations of love were bound together: the love of my grandmother, the love I carried, and the love I was now passing on. One evening, many years later, I sat with my daughter on the old wooden swing in Grandma's backyard. The sky was painted with soft hues of pink and lavender, and the wind carried the faint scent of jasmine. My daughter was tracing the silver locket with her small fingers. "Mama," she asked softly, "who is this in the picture?" I smiled, my throat tightening slightly. "That's your great-grandma," I whispered. "She had the kindest heart in the world." My daughter's eyes widened with curiosity. "Did she love you a lot?" I pressed the locket to my lips before answering. She still does, I whispered, and she always will. I sat quietly, watching the sun slowly dip below the horizon. My daughter rested her head on my shoulder, and together we listened to the soft creak of the old wooden swing. And in that peaceful moment, I knew that Grandma was still with us, in the gentle wind that brushed against our faces, in the sweet scent of the jasmine that lingered in the air, in the warmth of the setting sun. And I smiled, because love like hers never fades. It only grows stronger, passing from hand to hand, from heart to heart, becoming a part of who we are. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe and leave a like. It helps me share more meaningful, emotional, and beautiful stories with you. And remember, the people we love never truly leave us. They remain in the memories we carry, in the stories we tell, and in the love we share with the world.